It's always fun when we can talk about something. Well, it's not like this is not a heavy topic, but it's not necessarily current in the motion topics that we are normally covering on the show. Joining me, Adam Tex Davis from the podcast Slaycation. We talked to you guys a little while back. Always just fascinating and interesting to hear the adventures that you guys have had, are going on, and the stories that you have. I know we're going to cover a couple different ones here today. Adam, let's start with John Wayne Gacy. Of course, you know Gacy. If nobody knows his history, a quick backdrop for anybody playing at home: serial killer, sex offender, murdered at least 33. They think it could probably have been far more than that between 1972 and 1978. Referred to as a clown killer. So when you're flipping through Netflix and you see the big clown, that's him. When it's John Wayne Gacy, lured his victims to his home in Chicago, where he'd sexually assault and strangled them. Most of the victims buried in a crawl space beneath his house. He was arrested in 78 after police linked him to a missing teenager, leading to the discovery of his crimes. Interestingly enough, one of our main contributors on the show, Bob Mata, defense attorney, his dad was his attorney.
Oh, wow.
And the Gacy tapes, I believe the Netflix special is based on those tapes that Bob got for, I believe, his birthday from his dad one day, of all these conversations that he had with Gacy back in the day that had never been heard. But yeah, let's talk about this. You got to be, how would you describe the relationship with John?
Well, luckily it was a long distance relationship.
Yes.
Yeah. No, he was obviously incarcerated. What happened was my roommate and I were working on a movie. It was my roommate's movie, and my roommate went on to become one of the biggest directors in Hollywood. He did the movies, the Hangover movies. He did Joker, and now coming out soon, Singing Joker.
Okay.
So, Todd Phillips was my roommate, and we were working on a student film. It was Todd's student film. It was a documentary about a punk rock singer by the name of G.G. Allen.
Mm-hmm.
And G.G. Allen was the most hardcore guy in the punk scene. He wasn't like a great singer or a great musician or anything, but he was willing to be more extreme than anybody else. So he would poop on the stage, he would wipe it on his face, he would throw it at the audience, he would attack the audience, he would cut himself, he would be bleeding naked and covered in poop by the end of the
It's a lot like
show.
a Taylor Swift show. This is why everybody signs up to go see Taylor Swift, because it's a very, this is Taylor got the act from him, I bet.
Yeah. And here's the thing, it really was an act, because like before one of the shows for the documentary, he was snarfing down X-Lax. So he, to be prepared.
Yes.
And I was just like, why don't you just have White Castle? Like, it would be so much faster.
Exactly. Why not?
But the point is, so we were doing this Gigi movie, and in an interview with one of Gigi's super fans, a guy named Unk said that Gigi was fascinated by serial killers, which of course is on brand. But they had recently gone to visit John Wayne Gacy in the Illinois State Penitentiary.
Mm-hmm.
So they took a liking to each other. Gacy was fascinated by Gigi's antics. Gigi, of course, loves Gacy. So we got the idea, why don't we try to get John Wayne Gacy to paint a portrait? Because he was doing jailhouse portraits and paintings. And why don't we get him to do a portrait of G.G. Allen that could then become the poster for the movie? Mm-hmm. So through our connection, this guy Unk and the Gigi crowd, we were able to get John Wayne Gacy a photograph of Gigi, and he also wanted a naked photo of Todd, also in lieu of payment, I guess. And we were on the rooftop of our apartment taking topless photos of Todd, hoping that would be enough to get John Wayne Gacy to paint the picture and not full naked. And it turned out to be enough. And
so John did.
Gacy, yeah, he
did send you like, we need a little more before I start making the painting here.
I thought he was going to be like, come on, guys, I'll do half a picture for that. But anyway, he said he would do it, and sure enough, he painted this portrait of G.G. Allen from a photo that we had sent. And the funny thing though is he got our phone number when they, when we gave him the picture and stuff, like he took our apartment phone number
Mhm.
and he started calling constantly. Like our phone was constantly ringing, and it was like, collect call from the Illinois Stateville Correctional Institute, and it would be John Wayne Gacy. And whether it was me or Todd or both of us, we put him on speaker. Like he just loved to talk, and everything with this guy was sexual.
Yeah.
So it was like, are you guys having orgies? What things have you done? What have you not done? Do you guys fuck each other? I mean, I don't know if I could curse.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was just nonstop. And it got to the point where he was calling so much, and these are collect calls. We have to pay for it.
Yes.
I was working in a bagel store. I'm a college kid working in a bagel store. I don't have, pay for John Wayne Gacy's collect calls money. So we had to literally stop taking his calls, but at the same time, we still needed him to paint the portrait. So we had to take every like third call to get him to keep working. And then finally, somebody went and smuggled the painting out of the jail, and it showed up, and we had the poster, or we had the painting that became the poster. And let me just say, it was terrible. It was the worst painting. But again, it's like it's for this punk rock movie. It's actually, and it's signed John Wayne Gacy.
Mhm.
So yeah, it became like kind of a collector's item. We sold about 999 of them or whatever. Yeah, it became the poster for the movie. And then what happened was, he stopped calling because at that point he was ramping up. It's like 94. It's ramping up towards the execution.
Yeah.
Also, the movie wound up doing great because Gigi Allen, the punk rocker, wound up dying
Oh wow.
of
Okay.
a heroin overdose in 93, I think. And so this became the final word on him. So this movie actually wound up getting distributed. It's called Hated, Gigi Allen and the Murder Junkies. And it became like one of the biggest like grossing student films of all time. But the point is, so yeah, Todd had moved out, I think, at that point, and it was like getting close to Christmas time, and all of a sudden I open up my mailbox, and there's an envelope from the Illinois Stateville Correctional Institute, and I'm like, oh, please don't be the topless picture of Todd being returned to me. But when I opened it up, it was an actual Christmas card from John Wayne Gacy, and it just says "Joy to the World," and then his name, John Gacy, underneath.
Is
And
is it one you take out every year to this day? Like you bring out like the sled and you bring out like the snowmen and then it's John Wayne's card.
yes, uh,
You're reaching down for you must have it right there or something. Do you?
I have it. I should have been more prepared.
It's okay. If you're listening to this on the podcast right now, Adam's like scrummaging
Yeah,
around
that's
his
true. Right.
desk.
Yeah.
It's there
I,
somewhere. Yeah, you still got it.
I, I do have it. And it is funny because it says joy to the world. That this guy brought more death and awfulness to the world.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's like joy to the world was his message. I mean, he didn't write it, but was ridiculous. And then like people were like, wait, you still have it? And I'm like, I can't throw it out, but I
Yeah.
know it's like an evil totem. I
Mhm.
shouldn't have it.
Yeah. So what
So
was like what's going through your mind? I mean, you're trying to get this poster. I get it. I mean, it makes sense for that world. But when John's starting to call you regularly, what the
yeah.
hell's going through your guys' mind?
I mean, at first it was like literally sheer terror.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, oh my God, are we going to literally get on the phone and talk to this guy? But then it was like the first call I think we did together. So it was a little easier. But then like, yeah, the call would come in and it's like, do I take it? Do I not? And then, sometimes I'd have friends over and I'd be like, you're not going to believe who I'm about to be speaking to.
Mhm.
And I would put it on speaker and they're just, mind blown. But yeah, he was so dark and disgusting. And look, I am the least squeamish guy. If you listen to Slaycation, I
Uh-huh.
make off-color jokes.
Sure.
I am not squeamish at all.
Yeah.
But this was dark for me.
Wow.
So like I don't even talk about it that much, like the stuff that he would say though.
Like, yeah, I mean, I don't want to go into great detail, but like what, I mean, with what you can, like what was an average were they all kind of similar in nature? Was there ever days where John was a little more, I don't know, wanting to talk about the weather or something lighter? Or was he always just pretty much, you got John on the phone and he was there for what he was there for?
You know what it was? It was he would sometimes do like a lead-in question that felt like he was setting you up for like a normal conversation.
Mhm.
Do you have any pets? No, we're just two college kids living alone. Anyway, do you ever shit on each other?
Oh God.
You know, yeah. So it's like,
Wow.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, he was like, "Have you ever paid anyone to take a dump on you?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Well, does Gigi Allen count? Because he's flinging poo at his show." And some
Uh-huh.
guy, I don't know if that counts, but
So, was Gacy aware of Gigi Allen at that time? Did he know
oh,
the work and all that? Or okay, all right.
yeah, I mean, the joke was like, like he said, the quote that he said to Unc was, he goes, "I love that kid. He's got a lot of spunk, but man, he smells like shit." And it's like, yeah, this guy barely, he's wiping it all
Yeah.
over himself. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if he's taking the best, most thorough shower after his
Wow.
show.
So what was like how did the relationship end after the painting was done? I know you got the Christmas card. Was the Christmas card the end of everything or was there
Yeah,
anything
because
else?
that was actually a posthumous Christmas
Oh,
card. He had already been executed in the I think it was April or May of
okay.
'94, and then this was Christmas '94. So yeah, we were on his posthumous Christmas card list.
How did so he
Uh,
just like made all the cards and then like send them out at somebody sent them out for him at the end of the year?
I guess so. The jail. I don't know. He had a yeah. His things to do list. We were on it. I couldn't believe that he was using his jail time like phone call allotment. I can't imagine you could just call anytime you want, and
Yeah.
he's using it on us.
Did you
You
ever
know,
think you'd like would you ever try and get any information out of him if there was anything else or
yeah. So that was the thing. I liken it to like, you're being interviewed by 60 Minutes.
Mhm,
You don't ask the questions, they ask you the questions. So anytime we would try to turn it around and ask him anything, he would shut it down immediately.
mhm.
And if it was like anything about what he had been accused of, we say accused, but he did it. But
Yeah.
and if we brought up anything like that, he would be like, "Oh, I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk. That's a dark time. I don't want to talk about that." So anyway, you guys don't shower together to save water? Like that's where
Just
his mind
kinda
was at.
yeah, like deflecting.
Yeah.
Did I mean, I'm trying to think, did Gacy ever admit to his crimes?
No,
No,
no.
okay.
The only thing he would say is he would say, "I didn't bury them there. The only thing you can accuse me of is running a graveyard without a permit." That was his big line.
Running a graveyard without a permit. That is
Yeah,
so
I was
creepy.
running an illegal cemetery.
Wow. Wow. Well, that's a college story I think most kids probably don't have.
Right. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I just was glad we were on the phone.
Yeah.
Like I can't even imagine being in the same room with this guy.
Yeah, the energy. Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
dark. That would be very dark.
The one thing I will add is he would always get like pretend angry at some point during, like he would think that we were holding out on him.
Really?
That's where you could see the flash
Mhm.
of anger that probably happened. He was like this gregarious guy. He was a big, larger than life presence. He was a contractor. He worked with these kids. He was a birthday clown. He was all these things. And then you angered him, and then we heard it on the phone, like the
Yeah.
anger. You're not telling the truth. And then he would get really mad, and then he would hang up. And then he
Wow.
would call back a week later and be like, "Hey, it's John." Like
Kind
nothing
of
had happened.
kind of an insight into,
Yeah.
what how he may have been in when he was
Yeah.
free, when he was committing those crimes, just the ability to switch so quickly. That's scary.
Complete sociopath. Yeah.
Hey, thanks for checking out the video. Be sure to follow us wherever you download podcasts, and especially Apple Podcasts, where you can get advanced episode and premium content on our premium channel right there. Also, be sure to follow us on social media so you don't miss any breaking updates on the stories that matter to you most. We're on TikTok, X, Instagram, Facebook. Just search Hidden Killers Podcast with Tony Brueski, and you'll find us right there. Again, thanks for watching.